Hey, Lang here, and this is Edmunds versus TrueCar versus any online automotive free site out there that claims to be free and they're all for you. And we're about to break that down. So I'm going to show you exactly why these sites are free, what they're about. It's not that they don't have good information on them. It's just that it's just kind of a starting point for people. Okay, I'll show you. I'll explain their entire business model of how this goes. Okay, so like many free sites, they're usually what happens is that they make deals with dealerships, right? So you've got Edmunds, you've got TrueCar, and their business model is to give you as much free information as possible, okay? So they refer you to specific dealerships. So if you see up here this price promise, okay, on TrueCar, they have the ultimate price transparency. Supposedly, it's a TrueCar, promise or guarantee, And here's the key: TrueCar certified dealers. Okay, so what this means is that TrueCar goes out and they recruit dealerships. So because they get so much traffic to this website, they say, "Hey, Mr. Dealership, we get so much traffic to our site that if we send it to you, you can pay us a monthly fee for sending you all the leads in your zip code to your specific dealership. And any lead that you get, you're also going to pay us a $200 commission," or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's $200, but it may be, something more or less in that case, but they get commission. So that's the model behind both of these, just to get the answer out and start this video off with some great content, because it's the same methodology. Okay, in Edmunds it's a price promise, right? But it's the same thing. They can't guarantee a price without actually negotiating with dealerships. Hey, here's a good price for this car, so if our users come up and select and build that model, will you promise them that specific model? Okay, and I'll go over the catch to that in just a little bit of what's going on. But here's what they do is, as far as transparency. So I just got one selected, so you can just pick a car, whatever, and you hit go. All right, and once you get here, they do this automatically. They want you to pay attention to the MSRP and the average price paid, right? Well, here's what's interesting about this, because it's like the word average is defined as some people pay less and some people pay more. So why on earth would you want to play, I just picked this car, but for whatever car that you're looking at, why on earth would you want to pay an average price of what everybody else pays, right? That doesn't make any sense, because that means that some people paid more than they had to. So when you're getting this number, let's just say you accepted this number for face value, what technically that may not be your lowest price that you're going to get. So, you could be paying $2,000 more on this particular price because this is what the average person paid. Well, who cares what the average person paid, right? So anyway, moving on from that, okay, we've kind of debunked this price promise and average person paid. You're going to see it on a lot of sites. It's not just Edmunds, not just TrueCar. These are just, I'm not singling them out for any reason whatsoever. This is just the main two, the highest driven traffic sites out there, and this is where a majority of people will go to if they're trying to do research on vehicles. Now, here's the key to this. When you go, one thing that both of these sites do really, really well is they allow you to see the invoice prices of the vehicles. And here's what I mean by that. So if you go to Edmunds, and you can do this yourself, just pick whatever vehicle that you want, and you're going to be brought to this screen, right? And who cares about any of this right here? You want to click this button, build and price, okay? So you hit build and price, and it takes you to this special little, walkthrough, okay? Now it's going to show you right here that here's what rear-wheel drive, whatever you want to select, you got to select this from your model, okay? So I just know, let's just say I want this rear-wheel drive model. I click that, okay? And I know it's this type of engine, okay? So I don't want the V8, I want the V6. All right, great. Now look, it's gone to colors and options. Now here's the important part. This is where you want to grab the window sticker of the vehicle, okay? When you go in the dealership lot, and I'm talking about brand new cars only, and you see the window sticker on the rear window, it's going to have optional equipment packages to do this. Now, if you notice on this, You see MSRP and you see invoice pricing for everything. Okay, so this is what's great about this, and these are accurate. Okay, this is the invoice price, which this means technically what the dealer would pay for for the option to be on the car, and here's the markup for that. Okay, this is the MSRP. This is what you're going to see on the window sticker. You're never going to see invoice prices on a window sticker at a dealership. Okay, you're going to see this. So let's say, for example, I had in this one, I wanted the M Sport package, an executive package, whatever. I've got another executive package. It really doesn't matter. You're selecting whatever options that are on your particular vehicle, right? Okay, and then when you're done, you go get true market value pricing. Now, this really means nothing, but this is just Edmunds true market value pricing. You click there, and you're going to see, this is a very important screen. You're going to see the invoice price, the MSRP, and their true market value. Now, this is what they deal with right here, okay? That it doesn't really matter. Just ignore this column completely and ignore this column completely. You're going to want to look at this column, okay? So if you notice, the invoice base price of this car is $75,000. So the MSRP before any options were added was $81,300, right? But the invoice was $75,000. Okay, so right then, if you just went in and said, hey, I don't want it, if this had no packages whatsoever and it only had this, you're already saving $6,000 just by knowing these numbers. Okay, so this is a really, the numbers are real when it comes down to this. Now, when you added all your options up, okay, here's what you want to do. You want to look at this number. This is under this invoice. So you see, out of all of these options added up, okay, you have $87,575 in this example. Then you want to subtract the $995 destination fee. Okay, because the destination fee, it is a real fee, okay, but it's added last. So if you take $87,575 minus $995, it ends up $86,580, right? So $86,580 is where you want to begin. And a lot of dealerships would take that for this car. So, but then here you're saying, oh, well, the true market value is 90. Most people have paid 90. Who cares what most people pay? Like literally, this is a $3,000 difference. Okay. So why that's a big deal to you is that you can figure for every $1,000 that you finance, you're paying about $20. Okay, so for example, if you buy a $10,000 car, $20 times 10,000 is 200. You're roughly paying a $200 car payment, and it goes up and up and up. So this is literally a difference of $20 per thousand. That's 3,000. So it's about 60 something dollars in a car payment difference. It's a big deal. So this is great for research. Okay, now here's why people don't like this. Okay. The dealerships specifically don't like this because they've already pre-negotiated something with a dealer, and they say, hey, if we can get customers to take this price, will you take it with no haggle whatsoever? And they say, yeah, we do. So we'll do it. So what happens is that if I say get dealer quote, they're going to take my zip code, and then they're going to go over and they're going to basically find a nearest dealer to me that's subscribed to them. Okay, so that's what this is about. Now, TrueCar does the exact same thing that Edmunds does, a different platform, but here's the thing, with certified dealers, they're going to take your deal and they're going to send it to a certified dealer near you. Well, that means that they're only going to send you to a dealer where they get commission for. So you can see already how the system's kind of rigged when it comes down to these free sites. But let me show you what TrueCar is all about in this. So you click Shop New. Okay, let's just take the same car, BMW 7 Series. Let's just, I don't know, we'll pick a zip code. Pick like an Atlanta or whatever. Then you go in and you see it loads, right? So here's the key factor. So look at this. They tell you the factory invoice. Okay, now right off the bat, we just looked at Edmunds. The factory invoice is not 76, it's 75,295. So let me show you what they do that's sneaky. Factory invoice, Here's the average that somebody paid. Now, who cares about this, right? This is $2,000 over. So basically, if you sent this to a dealer as it is, they're going to do the same concept. They're going to send you to their certified dealer, and dealers have to take this price. They have to give it to you. So that way you don't have to haggle with them. So you think it's a big bonus, but dealers actually aren't fond of places like TrueCar because they oftentimes lose money because they look like the bad guys. So just picture this. Let's say I built this car and I said to TrueCar, yes, I want to go take the deal. They'll give me a certificate. They'll put me in contact with a certified dealer. They'll call me and say, hey, let's get the paperwork started. They're not even going to negotiate price because it's just going to be the price, up here. Okay. But oftentimes, this is not a representation of what they have on the lot. Okay. So this is where they get you. They might say, yeah, we'll take it for this car with these built options that you've put in here. But by the way, we don't have this car with these 2 options, so we're going to have to give you this other one that's close that it has 3 options. But this one you didn't really order, so technically we've got to charge you another $1,500 on this. And then they start the whole negotiation, and it gets all confusing, and next thing you know, you've cost yourself a ton of money that you didn't have to, all because you trusted a free site. Okay, so these sites, regardless of what they say, are not beneficial to customers. They give you great information. If you click here, you do the same thing as Edmunds does. They'll let you add packages. Okay, you can select the colors of the car. You can literally build the car, the same way. You can add these packages or populars, or you can just say, no, you know what, I'm done, or I don't want to do this, or I want to build my own. And you say, I want to build my own. It's the same thing. Look, this is the same packages as Edmunds. If you look at this right here and you go back to the colors and options, look, all the packages are still here. All the options are still here. It's the same exact thing. Okay, they just have 2 slightly different models. Now, going back to the factory invoice, notice why it says $76,890. Well, it does because if you scroll down here, it's $75,295, right? So if you scroll over here, you'll see it's the same thing, $75,295, but they have already added in the destination charge. So your factory invoice is $76,890, okay? Then they talk about the average things paid, regional fees, okay? Some of these fees are BS fees at that, but they put them in here for, people who don't know any better, and they'll be happy to pay those fees, when it comes down to it. So, and this is the TrueCar estimate. Well, again, who cares? This is just the number that they've promised the dealerships at the end of the day. It doesn't really help you out, but if you know how to use these sites, you can really get good things. So here's another example. So like, let's say I was in the market for this and I wanted to view incentives. Okay, so if I click here, they will literally tell me what incentives are for this vehicle. Now, this is a great tool. Okay, I don't have to buy through here, but at least I want to know, like, hey, if I'm going to get this financing, let me see what the incentives say. And they'll tell you any special model incentives, cashbacks. Look, college graduate bonus cash. If college graduates buying this car, hey, doing really well. So, but they tell you all the incentives. So it really does, it works well into your favor as far as getting numbers. That's the sole purpose of these websites, but they're free for a reason. All right. And it's free because it benefits them. They get all this traffic of y'all coming over here. And then what's going to happen is that the dealer benefits. So the dealer pays them $750 to $2,000 a month just to get the leads to them. And then if they close a lead, then they get another $200 on top of that. That's how these companies stay in business. That's how they make money. So I just wanted to break it down. When you say Edmunds versus TrueCar, this is the real motives behind it. And a lot of people either don't know it or they're not going to tell you, but this is the real deal behind all of this. Okay, so just know that whenever you visit these sites, that these are great, to come here, view the options. It's great to go to this site, look at the invoices, catches the invoice price of it. Everything that you can do is great. So you can automatically, if you have a dealership and they're quoting you a number, all you got to do is get on Edmunds or get on TrueCar, build it out from the invoice price and the window sticker, and take a look at the invoice. And the invoice is $87. So even if you offered $500 over that or whatever, then you can just compare it to their number of what they're offering and tell whether or not you had a good deal, because they can at least, if they sold you the car, let me tell you how the dealership stuff works just to simplify. If they sold you this car for this much right here, this includes the destination fee, they would still make money. And that's what people don't understand. Most people think that, let you on a little secret, that this is what the dealer paid for the car. And that is absolutely not true. Okay, the customer invoice is not what the dealer paid for the car. So think about it. I mean, when the days of the internet came up and things started becoming transparent, okay, have you noticed that the days of the dealerships making 13, 14, 15% profit on an MSRP are gone? They literally don't make that much now. They do, but it's not apparent. Okay, so they came out and it's like them saying, well, here's the internet. You think they didn't have a game plan for, these what they call transparency of the invoice prices? Of course they did. When the internet came out and all the dealers were panicking to the automakers, they were basically saying, hey guys, everybody knows what we're paying generally for this vehicle. We can't have that. We'll never make any money like we used to. So what did the automakers do? They said, okay, we have a solution. We'll stop giving customers all the rebates up front, because if you remember back in the day, they had like $7,000-$8,000 rebates on, cash back. They still do that on some cars that are, desperately need to sell, but it's very rare nowadays. They used to do it all the time back in the day, right? Well, they don't have that. Instead, the automakers told the dealerships, and they said, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to build your profit into the invoice price. So that way, each year, if you notice, you can take a look. So the base price of this BMW, right, is $75,295. Look at last year's price. It was probably $200 less in the invoice. Each year, no matter what car you pick a Toyota, Nissan, it doesn't really matter. The invoice price goes up by $150 to $300. And that's not by accident. They're doing it because even if they sold the car, they got to build the profit into the invoice. Okay, so when the dealer sells the car, they're getting a lot more money. When you don't know how to find dealer costs, then you're going to get more money. Then they're going to get more money for it. So all they did was build their profit into the invoice. So of course they're happy to show you. If you went into a dealership right now and said, "Hey, I want to see the customer invoice of the car," absolutely, they'll print it out. They'll show you the customer invoice because they know what that is. They know that you don't necessarily know what it is, but they know what it is. So with that said, you can, just take this knowledge for what it is and know that you're really going to have an edge over these guys. Okay, so I just wanted to break down what Edmunds versus TrueCar was, give you a little hints on that. I hope this has helped. And I'm telling you, any car that you pick, go to one of these sites first and look at where your numbers are. Okay, the best thing to do is to have a copy. If you notice on Vehicle Colab, you can take it, use the free tool there, and literally plug in the numbers. Send us the window sticker. We'll take care of all of this because we have proprietary formulas to calculate dealer costs, not just invoice. I'm just showing you what these guys do. They show you invoice costs of anything, but this is not. We can actually know what the dealer paid for the car, which is great because then that becomes your starting point, and that makes all the difference in the world. Whenever you work with us, that's what happens, and that's what the free tool is for you. So you can literally do it for free. You can just take a picture of the window sticker, go to Vehicle Colab, and text it, and then here we go. We'll calculate a number which you should pay, which will be better off than even this. So with all that said, this is Edmunds versus TrueCar versus all online automotive sites out there, and I hope this was helpful for you, and talk soon.